Hi, good morning. This is your microbiology lesson for barbering for Chapter 4. Microbiology is the branch of science that studies living organisms known as microbes or microorganisms that are too small to be seen with the naked eye. In order to see them, you would need to use the assistance of a microscope. Germs are all over the place, and it's important to make sure that you sanitize to keep the germ count low in the barbershop. Bacteriology is the science that deals with the study of bacteria. They are one-celled microorganisms that exist almost everywhere, on the skin, in water, air, and decayed matter, and in bodily secretions. Although bacteria are most commonly known as germs or microbes because of their association with disease, most bacteria actually perform helpful or harmless functions that are necessary to life. They can only be seen with the aid of a microscope, and they can live on their own, and they do not need a host, meaning they don't need to live on something else. They are most numerous in dirty places. That is why it's so important to sanitize and clean constantly. We have two types of bacteria. You have your non-pathogenic and your pathogenic. Non-pathogenic bacteria make up the majority of the bacteria. They are beneficial or harmless microorganisms that have useful functions. Pathogenic are the minority of bacteria that can cause disease. They can damage plants or human tissues by invading them. Pathogenic bacteria produce disease and infection, and maintaining sanitary standards in the barbershop is vital to prevent the spread of these organisms. There are three classifications of pathogenic bacteria. You have cocci, bacilli, and spirilla. Cocci are round-shaped organisms that appear singly or in groups. Bacilli are short, rod-shaped organisms, and spirilla are curved or corkscrew-shaped organisms. Bacilli are the most common bacteria and produce diseases such as tetanus, typhoid fever, tuberculosis, and diphtheria. And spirilla, they are subdivided into several groups and include pathogenic bacteria such as Streptomyia pallidum, a sexually transmitted organism that causes syphilis, or Borrelia burgdorferi, which causes Lyme disease. Types of cocci. Staphylococci are pus-forming organisms that grow in bunches or clusters like grapes. Streptococci are pus-forming organisms that grow in chains and cause infections such as strep throat, tonsillitis. Diplococci grow in pairs. See diplo, think of pairs, and they cause pneumonia and gonorrhea. Bacteria are able to move through the use of flagella or cilia. These are hair-like projections that assist in the motility of bacteria through liquid using a whip-like motion. There are two stages of growth and reproduction. You have the active stage and the inactive stage. During the active stage, also known as the vegetative stage, bacteria grow and reproduce. Generally, microorganisms multiply best in warm, dark, damp, dirty places where sufficient food is present. The cells divide through a method called binary fission into two new cells. This process is called mitosis, and the cells that are formed are called daughter cells. The inactive stage is during this stage do not grow or reproduce. Some become stationary or lie dormant while others die off. Spore-forming bacteria may survive the inactive stage by forming a spherical or round spores that have tough outer coverings to withstand periods of famine, dryness, or unsuitable temperatures. Bacterial infections. Pathogenic bacteria become a menace to health when they invade the body. An infection occurs if the body is unable to cope with the bacteria and their harmful toxins. There can be no disease without the presence of pathogenic bacteria. The presence of pus is a sign of infection. A local infection is indicated by a lesion containing pus and usually appears in a particular area of the body. Infected scrapes or cuts, pimples, and boils are examples of local infections. A general infection results when the bloodstream carries the bacteria and their toxins to all parts of the body, as in blood poisoning or syphilis. When a disease spreads from one person to another by contact, it is considered to be contagious or communicable. Some of the more contagious diseases or disorders that will prevent a barber from servicing clients are tuberculosis, the common cold, ringworm, scabies, head lice, and viral infections. The chief source of contagion are unclean hands or implements, open sores, pus, oral or nasal discharges, and the shared use of drinking cups and towels. What are bloodborne pathogens? These are disease-producing bacteria or viruses that are carried through the body in blood or body fluids, such as hepatitis and HIV. Sepsis is the poison state caused by the absorption of pathogenic microorganisms and their products into the bloodstream. Aseptic means free of disease germs. Subjective symptoms such as itching, burning, or pain can be felt only by the person with the disease. Objective symptoms such as boils, pimples, swelling, or inflammation can be observed by anyone. These are the way that pathogens can enter the body. They can enter through a break in the skin, such as a cut, through your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your ears, and having unprotected sex. Viruses are a submicroscopic structure so small that it can pass through a porcelain filter. It's capable of infecting almost all plants and animals. They live only by penetrating cells and becoming part of them. They are resistant to antibiotics and are hard to kill without harming the body in the process. Hepatitis is a disease marked by inflammation of the liver. Hepatitis A usually lasts 3 weeks. A vaccine is available. Hepatitis B is a serious disease that accumulates in the blood and can cause a lifelong infection. It can be asymptomatic. A vaccine is available. Hepatitis C progresses slowly. There is no cure and no vaccine. Hepatitis D is uncommon in the U.S., and again, there is no vaccine. Hepatitis E is also uncommon in the U.S., and again, there is no approved vaccine. HIV/AIDS. HIV means human immunodeficiency virus. AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. HIV is the virus that causes AIDS. AIDS is a disease. The most common method of transferring the virus are through sexual contact with an infected person. A person can be infected with AIDS for up to 11 years without having symptoms, and if not tested, may not realize that they are infecting other people. HIV is not transmitted through casual contact with an infected person, sneezing or coughing, because it is not an airborne virus, nor is it transmitted by holding hands, hugging, or sharing household items like telephones or toilet seats. It can enter the bloodstream through cuts and sores and may be transmitted in the barbershop by improperly disinfecting sharp implements. One of the most difficult aspects of treating HIV infections is that HIV is a retrovirus. This means that the virus uses the reproductive processes of the host cell to duplicate itself. The 3 stages of HIV/AIDS. You have stage 1, which is the HIV infection. There are no physical indications of illness. Then stage 2, or the ARC stage, is the chronic fatigue, your unexplained fever, chills, night sweats, and chronic diarrhea. Then you have stage 3, which is AIDS, all of the above symptoms, as well as hair loss, skin and other cancers, pneumonia and other infections, and nerve and brain damage. Parasites are plant or animal organisms that live on another living organism, drawing their nourishment from the host organism without giving anything in return. Plant parasites or fungi, such as molds, mildews, rusts, and yeasts, can produce contagious skin diseases such as ringworm or favus. Pediculosis is the technical term for an infestation caused by the head or body louse or lice. The ability of the body to resist invasion of bacteria and to destroy bacteria once they have entered the body is known as immunity. I have attached a small little video here, a YouTube video. If you click on the link, you can watch that. Make sure that you use this PowerPoint to fill in the study guide. It will go right along with the PowerPoint. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through my email or by calling me at 961-4070 extension 3131, Monday through Friday between 10 and 10:30. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the classroom someday.